Getting into the articulation of the EVA final model version is, wow, it's a lot. So we'll try to go through it relatively quickly, follow along with us, crew, and let's take a look. So on the EVA at the base, you have a front toe hinge that can go up. Your green accessory shin guards are maneuverable and on a ball joint die cast, so they can maneuver. Your rear orange portion can also go upwards to adjust for articulation and down. You can also adjust the orange in case you don't want it to be in the way. You still have some great side to side movement on those ankles. So that is amazing for its articulation. So you're going to have a ton of great time being able to get the feet where you want them to. In the rear, something that else is not seen is the spring-loaded portions on the thigh and the calves. What's so cool about these, though, is that when you press in on the thigh, or on the calves, they kind of spread out. So there's a cool spring effect that makes it look more organic when they're being brought in together. So I love that. With, again, the orange, those teals, neon green, that burnt orange, all of these colors are popping off with this really glossy looking material. You can even see some of the shiny metallic that's there to the base and the lilacs. Oh man, love it. Then going into the thighs, you'll see that without the added heat sink part, it does have a huge plastic part that's just in the way. But by kicking the legs out, you're going to notice, if you need more space, you can kick it on the side skirt out. This will allow you to move the leg out, but you will see some moving parts on the inner thigh, which, ooh, that is gorgeous. Now you do have one pivot at the thigh and another pivot at the upper thigh on the inside, as you see at the ball joint, which are all, again, die cast, so fantastic. It doesn't drop down like many of the other thighs and other action figure and model kits, but it doesn't need it, because with it not having any frontward skirt protectors or rear ones, it doesn't have to worry about dropping down to get any clearance. You can just move the legs out and get an amazing kicking kind of motion. Yahoo! Now there is also, again, as I mentioned, a little hinge right here for the side skirt, so if you want to get some more movement on it, you can. And by getting your heatsink in, you'll notice it's just a little rectangular part. It will just match right up, come on down, and connect it. And it does hinge out to show off this heatsink kind of ability, because this is one hot figure. Now, for the articulation on the waist, I was also thoroughly impressed by a lot of the range of movement that it's got. So at the base, it can rotate a lot. You have 1, 2, 3 hinges on the stomach. Show you again. 1 at the upper, 2 at the middle, 3 right at the base, I guess 4 at the core. So it can go very well to be standing up or forward. Now for arching back, you still, I guess that's where your upper chest here might be, but it's still a straight line. I want a limbo, and I don't think this one can. What is cool though, is that in the upper chest as well, you have the chest muscle parts, which as you move forward, will replicate some muscle movements. And I really thoroughly enjoy and appreciate that level of detail. For the chest itself, you do have downward and upward shoulder movements, which can hinge more if you need it. These parts are able to move up and down, and so you can get up and down with that inner shoulder, which still will let you go a full 360. Moving it up will allow you to fully T-pose, so that's not an issue. And there doesn't look like there's a lot of bicep movement, but it's up here in the shoulder where you'll see it. Other fun features that when you're moving your arms, while the elbow doesn't do much, you get a nice range of movement and some moving parts on the rear bicep. Now, as for the wrists, you do have a lot of hand pairs that we'll go over later, but for the sake of articulation, it is on a ball joint, and the hands are on a hexagonal peg, so you are able to plug them in comfortably and not have to worry about as you move them around. And on the wrist, you do have this part that will allow you to also rotate and articulate for your wrist guards too. So tons of movement on this piece. Now this is where we get to the neck, which does have a one movement hinge and another hinge at the upper portion of the neck. On the face, you do have the ball joints on the side skirts, which aren't super tight, aren't super articulated, but can add to it. And your plastic horn, which is 2 included, or there are 2 included in case you lose one, and there's still that movement on the mouth. Now, this is where I have a problem with this unit. If you'll notice, there's some silver right there. And when we first got this, my friend and I looked and noticed that this peg that's there for the light was a lot taller, and I was worried. So this doesn't look normal, but it will light up in the unit, which we will showcase later. But that's it for its basic articulation. Of course, there are some better parts to add on down the road, but that's our main unit. Accessory-wise, this model kit is packing. Going from the fantastically shiny and beautifully done and will capture every one of your fingerprints stands. The Evangelion final model stand itself is thin and does lock in with a nice little counterclock lock with 2 included stands. You'll have a base stand that will be able to attach with 2 of the included metal rods. So if you want it to be small or big, you can decide on that. And a vertical or one that does move. Now, the only thing about this one though is that it's very hard to get out. I would recommend using any of the metal included pieces, because once you've pushed it through, then you'll just need to detach, move it into the angle that you're going to want to then keep it at, and return the lock back inside, which I think I did it backwards. And that will keep it in that position, at which point then you will just attach through the selected point and use that locking mechanism to keep it in so it stays nice and sturdy and your kit won't be falling off as you're attaching your metal rod. But how does this attach into our EVA unit when there's no holes? That's where you get the included 3 attaching units. These will be able to plug in underneath on the Wilgus of the unit, or the taint, and it just slides right on it in. Put the metal pole in the metal hole, and then here you go. Now, of course, I'm not sure if this is how you would specifically want to display your unit and your toy, but that's how you do that. With the other included items, you have for like the hands, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pairs of hands. And what's super cool too is that A inside, B, C, D, E. See, I'm supposed to say F, but it's hard to see F. F. All of these hands are going to be used specifically in the instructions, like D, for an example, will be holding the progressive knife, which we just go A, B, C, D. We have our D. Let's take a look at said progressive knife, and it's amazing. Great detail. Not only the paint job, yes, that's a magnet. This does have a bit of a hinge and a hook right here. So when you do, try to lift up as you're taking it out, because this paint I think is going to start chipping after a while. But as you can see, it says high frequency on that nice copper finish. and you will just put the hand inside. I have had some people recommend that you heat these up, and that looks super cool. At which point, that looks amazing. But the knife itself isn't just used to stabby stab, as you have noticed. It does have a magnet, so we'll jump on over here to take a look at the pallet gun that's also included. I love the metallic silver that's on there, makes that little S, that dark purple with a darker one that says Evangelion, the nice orange for the handle. There is only one part that moves, and that's this connecting point, which will connect on the bottom portion of the rear jet, which we will showcase a little bit later. But once you pull it up, it slides right on inside here, and that's how it would store. But for to right now, we will use the magnetic portion that's on the bottom, and it attaches to the pallet knife, or the pallet rifle. So you have not only the rifle looking there, but bayonet version. So that is very cool. Not the strongest, but again, you're not moving your figure like that, but it will stay as you maneuver it. So that's super cool. Then we get to a giant sword that's included, which is also like the knife, a little tough to get out, but once you give it a good pull, it will open up. And I love the detail, again, that you're going to be getting to see in here. That green on the handle, that orange on the protector. Again, all of these are going to still be held by the hands, kind of like the Bisa Osafune, I think is what this one is. A giant sword compared to the original, the one we just looked at, which can still also be attached onto the unit. So what we'll do is, on the handle, this attaches here and comes down. So you have this attaching unit, and it should be able to also slide in, I believe, to these parts, which the die-cast metal that's right here hinges, and rotates. So you can, on the thighs of our Eva, we just detach this portion on the thigh. So you got your two shapes, so you can't really screw up how you're going to plug them in. And by doing that, now I can attach my Osafune. And that is awesome! If you want to be able just to get it out of the way and pose and look amazing with your kit, then yeah, that's so cool. So that's one of the coolest things that I love about these die-cast parts that can attach. Now, one part that will not attach much to anything else is the Lance of Longinus, and that has a gorgeous paint job that's on here with some very interesting etchings. I don't know the story on this because this is from the Anima storyline, and they are oriented very importantly, or specifically. So when you do put that on, which is still bigger than the Osafune, you're going to want to make sure that you have them orientated correctly. Gotta say, these hands suck, unless I'm using the wrong hand for the hand or grabbing the spear. Well, it doesn't tell you which one. Well, depending on your hand holding situation, again. Gorgeous looking. Now, this is a connecting point for the Wings of Light, which we are going to attach. And this is just a little black hole, and it's supposed to float on his back. With a magnet, which is so cool. Love that. And so you've got your second little horn. There are included jet parts here that will hinge at this base and slide up into the jet portions. Now, I'm still on the fence here to figure out how this is supposed to work, because if I'm not mistaken, these connect inside, and this is also supposed to be one unit together, which we will get together and move on for our Wings of Light. And so once you finally got this backpack connected on here, I will give you a tip. My first piece of advice is place the outward jets onto the pegs here first. Then orientate it to where it is. Let me see. Orientate it to where then you just slide down the jet units onto this. So these two jets first onto these ones. From there you just slide in. They should fit pretty flush right here on that metal. That way you'll know that it's kind of where it's supposed to be. And then that should be able to peg in. I'm still a little hesitant. And these would be able to plug in into the 3 spots right in the back. Now, one thing I will want to say is that there is a hinge on this bottom portion. If you want to push it up higher or lower, this can move to give you a better positioning for your mail. But if you don't want them connected, that's where we can still have access to our unit here. Or if I'm not mistaken, that just lets you pull that out for the included LR44 batteries, which should be used. Once it is connected, I will say I don't like it because it feels too restrictive. I don't know if I'm going to disconnect something on it as I am trying to rotate these boosters forward or back, because they're supposed to have that motion, that articulation, but I don't feel like I'm going to be able to get that while it's connected like that. So I'll probably have them disconnected if I were to display this. Once that's all set, it should go back into its located spot with its black hole, and then connect the many Wings of Light.
Once you've gotten the Wings of Light attached and everything else, this EVA looks evangelical, impressive, and amazing. I have got to say, the way the Wings of Light grab every little bit of light on it is amazing. And to its own credit, I love how the figure can hold so much of all the accessories in one go. Whether you've got the light effect going on the solid or the breathing effect going on, this is an impressive piece for your collection. But let's take a look at some of the size comparisons of the EVA. Big O Good Smile, Zero Gravity Judge, Figure Rise Standard Amplified Exodia, Mastermind Creations Optimus Promenon, Hemaxian Tastier, Special Forces Industry Sentinel, Zoid Murasame Liger, King Toys Tian Wei, Motor Nuclear Neza, ZZA Blue Flame, Orange Cat Industry Blaster Tekkaman Blade, Zhao Workshop Saint Armor Oracle, Chokogen Liger Zero, Robot Paradise Soundwave and Magic Square Optimus Prime, Master Grade and High Grade Epion, Kodo Bukia Mega Man X and Zero, Monument Repair Type Thick Geese, and MS General 7 Deadly Sins. As for the box details itself, CCS Toys did pretty good, I will say, on its design and the way that they went about it initially. It looks great. On the back, you're going to have the Nerve Evangelion final model. On the front, you're going to have an impressive look of EVA 01, the final model, in its just clean line form. And again, you can tell that it's from the Anima version up on the top left, CCS Toys top right, Evangelion final model, the bottom. Sorry, hard G right there. But it is gorgeous, and that's a hard G for all of you all for this amazing looking box. So presentation wise, just on the outside, looks really good. But what about the way it looks on the inside? Opening it up, you are presented with an amazing holofoil looking artwork for the Evangelion final model, which looks amazing as it's ready to start moving on there. Evangelion ANIMA. So if you want to look up more of what it's from, pulling it out though, it shows you on the rear some amazing line sketch work from the manga of 01. And oh boy, it's going to look amazing on however way you want to present that. So definitely wow on their presentation initially, even on their opening and first impressions. Just having it up as a nice piece of artwork. Ooh, yes, definitely. What do you think? Is this something you would actually hang up in your house? I would, because it is gorgeous. But amazing artwork regardless. Removing, you'll start to see the packaging that the Eva is inside. Looks really good with the packaging for the instructions, slides it on out, and it's really informative on what it's going to show you. It's on some really nice paper as well. So, how to put the wings of light in with the magnetic parts, different battery effects, how to attach the unit, be careful with how you work with the wrist. You have the front of the instructions. You have all the included pieces. How to actually attach the head, the backpack unit, and the front part that I did not go over for its articulation, which parts do move, which hands to use. This way you don't force anything inappropriately or incorrectly. It also comes with like a warranty sheet, though I'm not really sure how well that's going to work out. But it looks nice. Removing the unit, you'll start to see on the bottom from the styrofoam the other 3 included packaging units for the wings of light, the swords, the accessories, the hands, and everything. Looking around it, it is nice and taped together. Be careful again with the wrists, that what the instructions on the outside will say. Amazingly gorgeous. Before you can see all the fingerprints that get placed on there. So, gorgeous stand. You can even see the CCS on the bottom of it. Your giant sword. Again, I mentioned it earlier in the review, but all the attention to detail that you're going to find in the accessories here are impressive and definitely worth the value. The die-cast metal is also impressive for all of the pieces that you pick up. Nothing feels light or fake, if that makes sense. The gloss and the shine off of the paint as well. Ooh, man. Getting the unit out, of course, again, you see the wrapping. It does come without the head attached, so be careful and inspect yours, as you may have heard in the earlier interview. There were some challenges with it.
Evangelion?
Now I'll be clearing up all that up momentarily. You'll get your space back soon. And we'll be getting all the different types on it soon. So, bam! So you're gonna have like your regular gorgeous looking pieces right here, but this part right there. You ready? Let's get up.
Oh shit.
Oh, dang. Oh, dang.
Dude, that looks
Big shout out to my friend Dustin for letting me be able to review and take a look at his action figure. I am immensely thankful for his kindness, his friendship, and everything that he does. So, my man, thank you. You are amazing. But just not as amazingly and beautiful like the wings of light you guys are seeing. Oh my god.
Amazingly gorgeous.
They made these clear parts. Oh my god. They are catching all the light.
Yeah, it's going to be one I'm going to have to look up online and see what other reviewers have gone through when they've gotten to the sword.
Yeah.
Because already, that's now a question, huh? You spent a lot of money on this, didn't you?
Yeah.
And do the instructions tell you how you do it?
Nope.
And do you get scared about breaking it?
Yeah.
That's not a good feeling.
I know.